Good morning everybody. Once again we are back to our English class and today we are going to learn a particular grammar session. Okay, it's a common grammar session for everybody and it will be useful and helpful for many who are learning English also. Okay, could you please guess what I am going to discuss? So on the board itself it is written concord. Concord. While saying this word concord, it is a bit confusing, I suppose. See? So when I am talking about this concord in a different way, you would be able to know about it. Okay, before entering concord, let me talk to you. When you are taking a sentence in English, what are things you can find in a sentence? We have learned about 8 parts of speech. See? So 8 parts of speech can be found in a sentence. Almost all, we cannot say that it would be there in every sentence. Every sentence will not contain this 8 parts of speech fully, but some part of that would be there, sure. Okay, so when we are coming to a sentence, commonly we can speak that a sentence contains a subject, verb and an object. That should be there. Even a subject and a verb can create a sentence. Means what? Sentence is a group of words arranged in an order to make a sense. If the group of sentences are making a sense, that can be called as a sentence even. Suppose we speak, she speaks, that's enough. She is the subject and speaks is the verb. So both subject and verb enough created a sense. You understood what does it mean. She speaks means you understood. So it can be considered as a sentence, a sensible sentence, sure. But a complete sentence when we are speaking, it should have a subject, verb and object. She speaks to the person. She speaks to the audience. She speaks in a situation. So likewise, she speaks on the stage. So subject is there, verb is there and object is there. So in another video, we have learned how to find the subject, verb and object. And once again, let me repeat it. What is a subject? What is a verb? And what is an object? How can we find it? See, subject means who is speaking or about what we are speaking. That's called a subject. And the action what the subject is doing, that is what called a verb. So that the subject will be doing an action now. She speaks. She is the subject there. About whom we are speaking? About her we are speaking. So she is the subject. And what action she does? She speaks. So the action is speaks. So that is the verb. So subject, verb. And what would be the object then? The subject, what the action the subject is doing is getting explained where? It is getting explained in the part of object. Okay, so when we are coming into the parts of speech, we can see a lot many things in that. It will conclude, means it will be included of what noun will be there, pronoun sometimes will be the refer noun or a pronoun, sometimes it would be there in the position of the subject, then the verb will be there, adverb will be there, then to qualify the noun we can see the adjectives there. Then coming into that, prepositions will be there like a to, for or those kind of prepositions will be there. Then conjunctions like a but or something like conjunctions and interjunctions. All those things are included in a sentence. Okay, so these are the minute parts of sentence. When we are analyzing or scanning a sentence, we would be able to understand. So it doesn't mean that when we know means to speak, it's how to speak. It doesn't mean that we know English. The language, if you want to learn it properly, if you want to use it properly, you should know the grammar part also, that too thoroughly. So that's what we are going to learn here, the subject-verb agreement or concord. Now hope it is clear to you. Subject, verb and they are having a conduct in between. It's a conduct or a contract in between them. What is that? There is an agreement they have signed. So that agreement, what is that agreement? What are clauses or what are clauses are written in that agreement? That's what we are going to discuss in this particular video, subject verb agreement or concord. Hope it is clear to you what is subject verb agreement. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the concord in a sentence. Then it will be clear to you. So first let us learn what was the agreement between the subject and the verb. Listen carefully. What is the agreement, do you know? The subject and verb, they are in an agreement. What is the agreement means? If the subject is in plural, the verb also should be plural. If the subject is a singular one, the verb also should be singular. This is what the agreement between them. Okay, so the first agreement is what now? If the subject is singular, the verb also should be singular. If I am singular, you also should be singular at every time. And if the subject is plural, the verb also should be plural. So, this is what the agreement between them. Now, we have to look into the situation or the usage, how they are keeping up this agreement. This is what we are going to learn in this session. Okay, what is that agreement I told? Let me repeat it once again. The agreement is that if I am means I am subject. If the subject is singular, the verb also should be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb also should be plural. So let me ask you one question. What does it mean singular and plural? Singular means what? Single means one in number. Plural means more than one. Clear now? So singular means one in number. Plural means more than one. That's what called plural. So let's see how this agreement works. There are 9 rules. Okay. When we are considering the subject verb agreement, when we are going detailing about that now, there are 9 rules which can be found in this agreement. As I told in the beginning, there are certain clauses. When we are signing an agreement, it will be written clearly now. So likewise, it is written clearly as the clauses. So there are 9 subject verb agreements. So one by one, we are going to learn today. Ready? So the first subject verb agreement, we learned what it is, the core. The subject should be, so if the subject is singular, the verb also should be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb also should be plural. So I am just showing you one example for that. Okay, we will take that same sentence as we discussed at the beginning. Which was the sentence we discussed? She speaks. Isn't it? So I am just taking that. She speaks. I am not taking an object from this. Okay, I am just dealing with the subject and the verb only. Who is speaking here? She is the one who is speaking, so this can be marked as subject. And what does she do? Speaks. So this is what? Verb. So subject and verb. Why did I write S there? Do you know? Why I wrote S with speak? It's enough now. She speak. That is enough now to create a sense. That is enough now. So but no, this is what the agreement between them. This is a singular one. She is only one. Isn't it? So, the verb also should be singular. So, how to denote that? I mean, verb has what we can say, verb is having a great responsibility to prove. Isn't it? Because they signed an agreement. So, verb should prove that I am in singular form. So, for that, verb thought what should be done to prove myself as singular. So, what is the rule now? Do you know? Singular. So, it starts with S. See, this S form is added with the verb. When the subject is singular, S form is added with the verb. So, it should be speaks when singular comes. But when plural comes, does it need? They. Is it clear? They speaks. Then what is the difference between this one and this one? No difference. But here there is a difference. She is singular and they, more than one in number, means it is plural. So we cannot use speaks here. So both will be the same only. So according to their agreement, it's not nice. Same. So we avoided that S form from here. So they speak. So for the plural, we don't want to add yes. She speaks. Only with the simple present tenses. Okay. Don't feel that it would be added with the past tense, future tense and all. No, it won't appear in past tense, future tense and all. It will appear only in the simple present forms. Okay. So, let us learn more about it. Then you will be able to do perfectly in your sentences. Hope you understood what it is. See, this is singular. So, the verb is speaks. We added S. Why? S is the first word of singular. So to show that the verb is in singular form, we added an S form here. So whenever you speak, most of them are speaking like she speak, they speak. Is it? So it's not correct. You have to speak in the same way itself, because don't forget about the agreement which they have. What is the agreement? If I am singular in present tense, you also be singular. Subject told the verb. So the verb is keeping up the word always. So it is our duty when we are using them to keep up the word, is it? So we are keeping up the word that she speaks. They speak. Hope it is clear to you. Okay, we learned about subject verb agreement, and the beginning I told, even at the beginning I told you that there are 9 rules. Okay, which are the 9 rules and why we are using these 9 rules, do you know? See, when we are using the subject verb agreement in sentences, sometimes we are getting confused whether this subject is a singular or plural. See, we understood how to use singular form and plural form with the verb, just to add S only. See, to make it as singular. For plural, we don't want to add anything. So that's what we learnt. But certain situations are there in English where we are getting confused whether this subject is singular or plural. So the first rule is subject verb agreement in phrase or clause. Okay, so before entering the subject, we should know what is a phrase and what is a clause. Then phrase means more than one word. So keep in your mind that a phrase means more than one word in a position. In the position of the subject, that is subject phrase or noun phrase, we will say, because in the subject position and in the object position a noun or a pronoun will come. So it's a noun phrase. Verb phrase also will be there. More than one word is appearing in the position of the verb. I'll tell you one example, then you will understand it clearly. Okay. See, the old man. We can talk it about the old man. The old man walks slowly. The old man walks slowly. This is what I said. Listen. The old man. Who is the subject here? Who walks slowly? The old man is walking slowly. See? So the old man is the subject there. And what does he do? Walk slowly. So this is the verb. So when you are looking into the position of the subject, the old man walks slowly. Write it in your mind and find it. Okay, that's what the best magic of learning grammar. If you're writing on the board, it will be written there clearly and you would be looking at. If you're writing that in your mind, you will be able to analyze it. When I'm speaking itself, you please write it in your mind. Okay, the old man. I told the subject is the old man. So, is it one word in the subject position or more than one word? The old man. See, 3 words are there in the subject position. The is an article, definite article. Then old, it gives the quality to the man, as in says that he is old. So, it's an adjective and comes the man, a noun. Then, so the old man. So, 3 words are there in the position of the subject. So that is a phrase. Okay, she speaks. Who is the subject? She is the subject. So it is not a phrase. It is simply a subject only. Okay, it cannot be considered as a phrase. A phrase means more than one word it is. Okay, so phrase you understood, I suppose. And clause. Clause is a bit different one from the phrase. It also contains more than one word, but at the same time it will have a grammatical function. It's okay. I'll simply tell an example. I don't know how far or to what extent you will be able to understand it. So, if clause, when we are considering with if clause, you can see that if you study well, you will pass the examination. So, if you study well, the first sentence is getting completed by if clause. We'll call it as if clause. It's a grammatical functioning of words. Okay, if you study well, so if clause it is. After if, whatever word comes now, more than one word it is, and it comes together and it has a purpose of grammatically. Purpose means it's not complete. Dependent clause and independent clause, we will say. Both are together only will stand. They may not be able to stand separately. If you study well, I said that much only. Are you able to get the full idea? No. You will pass the examination, that is okay, no problem. It's an independent clause, no problem. But when it comes with if clause, that cannot be completed as a single one. So that's what close, more than one word, but it will be having a kind of what? Grammatical purpose. Likewise, relative clauses are there starting with the WH, using with WH words and all. Okay, this is the pen which I like the most. So which I like the most is a relative clause, sentence relative clause it is. Okay, so this is what clause. So phrases and clauses, when how the subject verb agreement will work. This is what the first rule we are going to learn. Okay, listen properly. I am going to write here beans. Beans. So this is a noun. Bean and beans. Listen, beans are filled. I wrote an example here. Beans are filled in a box. Can you see it? Beans are filled in a box. So the subject is beans. Are filled is the verb and in a box is the object. So beans is the subject. Check whether it is a singular or plural. Bean, not beans, I told. So more than one it is. That is why we used the are here. Otherwise, bean is will be. If it is bean, we would be using is. Listen, if it was beans, we would be using is only. It is beans. That's why we used are here. But I'll make. This is only one sentence, single sentence came in the position of the subject now. I'm going to make it as a phrase, okay? A can of beans. Subject, you see now? A can of beans. I didn't change this word beans, but I added some words before that. A can of beans. So, will it be are or is? Beans itself. But now you see, it's all collected in a can. So the can is taken as the prior one or an important one. So a can of beans is, so which one will come there? Are will come or is will come? Yes, definitely is only will come, because it's not talking about beans only. All the beans are collected in a can. That's what I told you, phrase. It's a phrase and it can be clauses also when we are adding up some grammatical format too. Okay, so a can of beans is then filled. The rest part is the same itself. Filled in a box. Did you get it? So the phrase and clause. What is the difference? When coming into the plural also, the same is. Okay. A group of friends. What will come here? A group of friends. What will come here? We are considering a group only. So we can use what? A singular form. Got it? A group of friends is. So there will be a tendency by seeing this friends to use are. No, wrong. Because we are talking about a group. Many groups were there. We are talking about that particular group only. Is it clear now? Phrase, how to use the subject verb agreement in phrase. Hope it is clear. So the next rule. We talked about the first rule, isn't it? So now we're coming to the second rule of subject verb agreement. Indefinite pronouns. When indefinite pronouns are coming in the subject position, which type of a verb, which form of the verb, whether it is singular or plural. So that's what we are going to learn now. So what does it mean, indefinite pronouns? Indefinite, we are not sure about it, isn't it? In such cases, we are using certain words. So which are the words you can see on the board now? Each, either, neither, then one, no one, nobody, nothing, anyone, anybody, anything, someone, somebody, everyone, everybody, everything. Such words are there now, where we are using these words. So these all are singular forms. Is it clear? Which are singular forms? Each of you, each of you. So what verb will come there? Each of you, each student. So I am going to write it here. Okay, listen. Each student. So what verb will come here? I have to write each student absent. So how can I write it? What verb can I use here? Each student is absent or are absent. Which can be written here. Is or are. What will come here? Each is coming in singular. So S form is only. Isn't it? So the verb should be singular. Which is singular? Is singular. So remember that the present tense, how to find whether it is singular or S form will be there. Even with has itself, you can see that example, it is applicable in have and has. Has is having S in that. So it can be taken as a singular. Have means more than one. If plural comes, only have should be used in the perfect tense. Okay. So coming into each student is absent, not are absent. Clear? Is it clear to you? Each student is absent. Likewise, either, neither, this and all singular. Okay. One is, not one are. Then no one is, no one are not. Then nobody is, nothing is, nothing are, no, nothing is. Then anyone, anybody, anything, someone, somebody, this and all. What? These and all singular forms of verb. So there and all you should use the singular form of verb only in the present tense. Got it? So this is what you have to keep in your mind always. So there are chances for the students to get it confused whether these are singular or not. These are all singular forms. Okay, then coming into the plural, which are they? Several students. Several student is or are. Several is coming in the plural session. So several students are. Hope you understood. Several students are. Then both are. When we are talking about two friends, so both are not good. We'll say both are good. We will say. So both are only will come. Both is will not come because both is a plural form. Okay. Many. From the word itself we understood because it shows more than one number, is it? Many. Many of them are coming. One of them means one of them is coming because one is a singular form. One of them is coming. Many of them are coming. Is it clear? Singular and plural in indefinite pronouns. When we are not sure about a particular person, we are using these words. That's why it is called as indefinite. And instead of a noun, we are not using any words or any names here now. Instead, we are using some words. So that words are called pronouns. Why it is called as indefinite pronouns? When we are not sure about who is this or which one it is specifically, and there is no name to indicate, there only we are using. So this is called indefinite pronouns. So indefinite pronouns, these are the singular form, these are the plural form, and certain forms are there. Both all appear singular and plural according to the nature. Let us discuss that too. Okay, so we learnt about the indefinite pronouns, which comes under singular, which comes under plural also we learnt, is it? Now we are going to learn about the indefinite. So there are certain indefinite pronouns which will come both in singular and in plural according to the usage. Okay, according to the usage. So we are going to learn that too. So this particular rule, second rule, will be completed after learning this only. Okay, so one example I have written here, some. S-O-M-E. Some is an example for such a indefinite pronoun which can be either appeared in singular as singular or appeared as plural also. According to the situation it will change. So what is the situation? That's what we are going to look into. Okay, countable noun and uncountable noun. Did you learn about that? Countable noun and uncountable noun? See, nouns can be divided into countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns which is possible to, so children, so children is my noun. So can you number it 1, 2, 3, can you count them in number? It's possible, as in we can say that countable. So in children, it's a noun which is countable. So in at the same way I'm asking water. Water, will it be possible to count? Water 1, water 2, water 3? No, it's not possible. If the water is containing in a jar or just filled up in a jar or a glass or something, and when we are fixing it, means we can just say, yeah, 1 glass of water, second 2 glasses of water, 3 glasses of water. So it's okay. Is it? Otherwise the water cannot be. So that's what countable noun and uncountable nouns. Certain nouns are not possible to count in number. So that's called uncountable nouns. Is it? So certain are possible to count. That's called a countable number. So accordingly, with which it comes, it will be considered. Okay. You see here the first example I have given here. Some of the sugar. Is it a countable noun or uncountable noun? Sugar, can you please count it? 1 sugar, 2 sugar? No. If it is cup means okay. Cup of sugar, okay. But sugar cannot be counted, is it? So it's an uncountable noun. So with the uncountable noun, we should use singular only. With the uncountable nouns, we should use singular only. With the countable nouns, members of the family, members of the music community, or members of any group. So that can be members. We can count how many are there. So in countable nouns, when it appears, it should be plural. Did you understand? So it should be plural. There are certain other verbs also, which is nouns also, pronouns also, which can be appeared in the same way. Okay. So this should be taken into care. What is that? Some is a pronoun. It's an indefinite pronoun which should be appeared either as singular or as plural. So how can we define or how can we decide whether it is singular or plural? According to the noun which is added up with this indefinite one. Okay. Some of the sugar. It's a uncountable one. So it's an uncountable one. So it should be following a singular verb. Okay, some of the members, it is countable. So it should be used with a plural. Is it clear now?